Picture this. It's the middle of August, the thermometer just punched past 95, and your tomato plants are slumped over like they've given up on life. Your lettuce bolted 3 weeks ago. The beans dropped their blossoms before they could set a single pod. But somewhere in that same blistering garden, a handful of crops are doing something strange. They're growing faster, producing more, practically demanding the heat that's killing everything else. And once you know which 10 to plant, that brutal summer sun stops being the enemy and starts working for you instead of against you. Because here's what most gardeners get wrong. They try to baby crops that were never built for extreme heat in the first place, fighting a losing battle with shade cloth and constant watering. The smarter move is to pick plants whose ancestors evolved in deserts, tropical jungles, and African savannas, where 95 degrees is not a heat wave, it's just Tuesday. So today you are going to discover 10 heat-loving crops that turn punishing summer days into bumper harvests. Some you've heard of. A few will surprise you. And the one at number 1 might just become the most productive plant in your entire garden. Let's count them down. Starting at number 10, meet Malabar spinach, also known as Bacella alba. Right out of the gate, it is not actually a spinach at all. It is a tropical climbing vine, native to monsoon-soaked regions of Asia and Africa. And it absolutely laughs at the kind of heat that makes true spinach bolt to seed in a single afternoon. The leaves are thick and succulent, almost like a tender garden green crossed with something out of a jungle, and they carry a mild, slightly peppery flavor that works beautifully raw in salads or wilted into stir-fries. Once it gets going, you can harvest continuously all summer long, even when the air feels like soup. There is also a stunning red-stemmed variety that doubles as a living trellis decoration, with deep crimson vines twining up any support you give it. Plant it once, give it something to climb, and it will feed you straight through the season most other greens fail. Coming in at number 9, the yard-long bean earned its name because its pods can stretch 18 inches to a full 3 feet, dangling from a trellis like long green ribbons. These are the Asian cousins of the cowpea, and unlike standard green beans that drop their flowers the moment temperatures spike, yard-long beans keep flowering and setting pods through the humid tropical heat that would destroy a blue lake or a Kentucky wonder. Harvest them young when they are about pencil thick, and they snap with a flavor that sits somewhere between green bean and asparagus. The vines themselves are vigorous climbers, so they pull double duty as a privacy screen or as a vertical garden centerpiece. If you have ever felt like your bean trellis was a graveyard by mid-July, this plant turns that around. At number 8 is one you've definitely heard of, though probably not appreciated for what it really is. EGG plant. Native to South and Southeast Asia, eggplant does not just tolerate 80 to 95 degree weather with full blazing sun, it genuinely prefers it. Once those plants are established, they send down a deep taproot that lets them get by with surprisingly little water. And the self-pollinating flowers keep setting fruit straight through heat waves that shut down peppers and tomatoes. Here's the trick most gardeners miss. Skip the big globe varieties when summers get extreme. Slim Asian types like Pingtung Long and Ichiban will outproduce them 3 to 1 in punishing heat, giving you those gorgeous glossy purple, white, lavender, and striped fruits in waves rather than the occasional disappointing single. They want it hot. Give them what they want. Sliding into number 7, cowpeas, which most Americans know as black-eyed peas. This is an African legume bred and refined over thousands of years in the Sahel region, that semi-arid stretch south of the Sahara where rainfall is scarce and temperatures are merciless. It fixes nitrogen in the soil while tolerating drought conditions that would crush nearly any other bean. There is one quirky thing to know though. Cowpeas are heat tolerant by day, but they actually struggle a little when night temperatures stay above 63 degrees during flowering, so cooler evenings help your harvest. The genius of this plant is that it gives you 3 crops from one. Tender pods when young, shelling peas at the green stage, and dried beans for storage. Plus, it doubles as a cover crop, leaving your soil richer for whatever you plant next. But there is a catch with the next one, which we will get to in a moment. First though, number 6, amaranth. Amaranth is the sacred grain of the Aztec civilization. It evolved in the hot lowlands of the Americas, and it does something remarkable. Some species use what is called C4 photosynthesis, a more efficient pathway that gives them a real thermodynamic edge in extreme heat. In simple terms, while most plants are wasting energy trying not to overheat, amaranth is converting sunlight into growth at full throttle. The young leaves taste like a richer, earthier spinach. The seed heads can rise 6 feet tall in towering plumes of red, gold, and green, and they produce a complete protein grain that ancient civilizations literally worshipped. The catch I mentioned? Amaranth reseeds itself aggressively. Plant it once, and you will have volunteers popping up for years. For most gardeners, that is a feature, not a bug, but it is worth knowing going in. Number 5 is the pepper, and this is where things start getting really fun. Capsicum, native to the Central and South American tropics, includes a whole spectrum of heat-resilient varieties most gardeners have never tried. Hot peppers like jalapeno, Anaheim, and habanero actually intensify in capsaicin when stressed by heat, which means they get spicier the more brutal your summer gets. Sweet types like shishito and Hungarian wax keep right on producing in conditions that make bell peppers abort their flowers. The trick is consistent moisture and heavy mulching. You want the roots warm but not parched, and a thick layer of straw or wood chips locks that in. Here is a secret most gardeners do not realize. In warm climates, peppers are actually perennials. Protect them through winter, and they will come roaring back the following year, more productive than ever. At number 4 are the melons, and this category includes more than you might think. Watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, and the long-ridged Armenian cucumber, which, despite its name, is technically a melon and keeps producing where standard cucumbers turn bitter and tough. Melons need 2 to 3 solid months of sustained heat to develop their sugars, which means their sweetness is, in a very real sense, solar-powered. Every extra week of hot sun translates directly into more sugar in the fruit. The sprawling vines tolerate dry spells once their roots have gone deep, and watermelons in particular trace their origins to the African deserts of what is now Sudan and Egypt, so heat is encoded in their DNA. Give them space to roam, plenty of compost at planting, and let the summer do the rest. The hotter it gets, the sweeter your harvest. Now we're entering the top 3. Number 3 is a plant most American gardeners have never even heard of, the tepary bean. Indigenous to the Sonoran Desert that straddles Arizona and northern Mexico, tepary beans survive on less than 16 inches of annual rainfall, which is essentially nothing. In side-by-side drought and heat trials, they routinely outperform common beans because they use water far more efficiently at the cellular level. Native American tribes have grown them for over 5,000 years, and they come in stunning varieties of white, brown, and speckled seeds with a nutty, protein-dense flavor unlike anything in the standard supermarket bean aisle. Best of all, teparies can complete their entire life cycle in 60 to 90 days during scorching desert summers. If climate resilience is something you care about, this is the bean of the future. Coming in at number 2, the sweet potato. This is one of those crops that performs almost backwards from what most gardeners expect. While white potatoes start to suffer above 75 degrees, sweet potatoes flourish above 90 degrees, with the tubers actually bulking up faster as temperatures climb. Their dense vining canopy shades the soil, suppressing weeds and conserving moisture so well that established sweet potato beds practically take care of themselves. Yields only really start to drop above 95 degrees sustained, which is a far higher ceiling than almost any other root crop. And here is a bonus most gardeners overlook. The leaves themselves are edible, with a flavor like mild spinach, giving you a second harvest all summer long while you wait for the tubers to mature. They originated in the Central and South American tropics, so hot, humid summers are exactly what they were built for. And finally, number 1, the undisputed champion of brutal summer heat, okra. This plant practically begs for 100-degree days and humid nights to set its iconic ribbed pods. Originating in Ethiopia and West Africa, okra evolved in some of the most punishing tropical climates on Earth, and it shows. Studies have found that okra maintains its photosynthetic efficiency and high water content under combined heat and drought stress, which is a fancy way of saying it just does not quit. Its hibiscus family leaves resist wilting where tomatoes are already collapsing in heaps. There is one rule though: once those pods appear, daily harvest is non-negotiable because okra goes woody within 48 hours of being ready. Pick early, pick often, and the plant will keep producing for months. As a bonus, okra is genuinely beautiful. The yellow flowers with crimson centers look like something out of a tropical resort, making it the rare crop that is both ornamental and incredibly productive. So there you have 10 crops that don't just survive the heat, they need it. The trick to a wildly productive summer garden, it turns out, isn't fighting the climate with shade cloth and sprinklers and constant worry. It's choosing crops whose ancestors evolved in heat just like yours, and then stepping back and letting them do what they were built to do. Match the plant to the climate and the work drops away. Your harvests grow heavier, your watering goes down, and summer stops being the season your garden survives and becomes the season it finally thrives. So tell me, which of these 10 are you planting first this summer? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you want more heat-resilient gardening ideas, the next video is already waiting for you on screen.